The alien warrior stepped off the shuttle, her boots clicking loudly on the metal floor of Earth's landing bay. She was tall, strong, and carried herself like a leader. Her blue skin glowed softly under the white lights, and her silver armor still showed marks from her last battle. She had fought in space wars across 5 galaxies. She had survived black holes, enemy fleets, and even a plasma storm. Nothing scared her. Her name was Velra. Velra had never been to Earth before. She was here for a peace mission. The war between her people and the humans had ended. Now, both sides were working together. She had been chosen as the first alien warrior to live and train with a human crew. Captain Ross, a tall human man with a friendly face, greeted her with a salute. "Welcome to Earth," he said. Velra nodded. "I hope your ship is as strong as your handshake, Captain." Ross smiled. "We'll let you decide that yourself." They walked through the human starship. Together, Velra looked around, quietly judging everything. The halls were clean and calm. The lights were soft. She saw no weapons, no guards, no alarms. It felt too peaceful. "This ship," Velra said, "feels like a sleeping beast." Ross laughed. "Most of our fights are behind us. We like to keep things quiet now." Velra didn't respond. Peace was not something she trusted. He showed her to her room. It was small but clean. There was a soft bed, a computer desk, and a door to a private washroom. "You'll be staying here for the next few weeks," Ross said. "If you need anything, just ask the AI assistant." Velra stepped inside. "Thank you, Captain." He left her alone. Velra began checking the room. She touched the walls, scanned the corners, and checked under the bed. Her warrior instincts never rested. Everything seemed normal. Then she opened the door to the washroom. It was small, made of metal, with strange buttons and blinking lights. Pipes ran along the walls. But her eyes stopped on the large white object in the middle of the room. The toilet. It looked harmless, but something felt off. Velra stepped closer. She leaned down to examine it. The bowl was deep and curved. The seat was open. There was a silver handle on the side. She didn't understand. Is it some kind of weapon? She muttered. Back on her ship, sanitation systems were automatic and silent. They used teleport clean tech. No noise. No movement. No flushing. This device had none of that. She reached for the handle. Suddenly Shay. The toilet flushed loudly, spinning water around like a mini hurricane. The sound echoed through the room like a battle horn. Velra jumped back, hitting her head on the wall. She reached for her invisible blade on her hip, but she had been told not to carry weapons on this ship. What kind of trap is this? She hissed. She stood in silence for a moment, staring at the now quiet toilet. Her heart was racing. Her hands were tight fists. She had fought firestorms and gravity bombs. But this Earth machine had caught her off guard. Velra backed out of the room slowly, eyes never leaving the toilet. Outside, the AI assistant spoke gently from the wall speaker. "Commander Velra, do you require help with bathroom operations?" She looked up. "No, I do not need help," she said firmly. But inside, she wasn't so sure. Later that night, she sat on the bed, replaying the sound in her mind. That rushing water, that strange spin, the suddenness of it. She pulled out her translator and searched for human toilet operation. A short video played. It showed a human sitting calmly, then flushing the toilet without fear. Velra narrowed her eyes. If they can defeat this, so can I. But deep down, a small part of her apart that had never feared battle was now afraid of plumbing. And So the great alien warrior who once destroyed a war fleet with her bare hands had just met her most confusing enemy. Not a general, not a weapon, but a toilet dot, and it had won the first round. Asterisk Velra didn't sleep that night. She sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the bathroom door like it was a battlefield entrance. Her warrior brain ran through tactics, weaknesses, escape routes. But no weapon in her past had prepared her for this ... thing. That toilet had roared like a beast. Loud, fast, hungry. The next morning, the sun rose over Earth's sky, filtered to the ship's small porthole. The crew moved about their day like normal. Velra? She was at war with a bathroom dot. She walked through the halls wearing her armor. Her eyes were sharp. She passed humans chatting and laughing, as if everything was fine. Didn't they realize there was a dangerous machine inside every room? "Good morning, Commander," said a cheerful medic. Velra only nodded and walked faster. By midday, she couldn't hold it anymore. Her body reminded her that even warriors had needs. She returned to her room. She stood at the bathroom door. Deep breath. One hand on the wall. One hand on the door panel. The door slid open with a hiss. The toilet sat there, quiet, innocent, waiting. "I will not be defeated again," Velra whispered. She stepped inside slowly, like entering a predator's nest. She scanned the room. With soldier's eyes. Pipes on the wall. Light above. Toilet in the middle. No movement. She walked up to it, stood above it, and studied it once more. "This time," she said, "I am ready." She reached for the handle. Her hand trembled slightly, only slightly. She counted down in her mind. 3, 2, 1. Who? The toilet flushed again, loud and sudden, swirling water like a vortex. Velra jumped so high, her head nearly hit the ceiling. She stumbled back, slipped on the smooth floor, and landed hard against the wall. A metal towel rack fell down beside her with a loud clang. Attack confirmed. She shouted instinctively. Her body rolled to the side as if dodging. An explosion. She grabbed a soap dispenser like a makeshift weapon and pointed it at the toilet dot. It made no move. She crawled to the doorway, eyes wide, breathing hard. From the hallway, footsteps approached. The door slid open. It was Lieutenant Myra, a young human officer. "Commander, are you okay?" Mira asked, shocked at the scene. Velra stood quickly, straightening her posture. "Yes, perfectly fine. The unit and I had a conversation." Myra blinked. "A conversation?" "We reached ... an understanding." I touched the handle. It screamed. I screamed. "Balance." Myra tried not to laugh. "Would you like me to explain how it works?" Velra's pride battled her fear. Her honor wanted to say no, but her survival instincts won. "Yes," she said flatly. Myra stepped inside and calmly pointed at each part. "This is the seat. You sit here. When you're done, you push this handle. That's the flush. It clears the bowl with water." "Why does it roar like a dying star?" Velra asked. Mira laughed. "That's just the sound of rushing water. It's harmless." Velra narrowed her eyes. "No machine is harmless, especially the loud ones." "Would you like to try it again?" Mira asked gently. Velra looked at the toilet like a rival. "Yes, but this time, I am the hunter." She stepped forward, sat down slowly, waited. Myra waited too. Velra took a deep breath, reached for the handle, and pressed it. Who She didn't move. Not even a blink. Victory. Myra smiled. "You did it." Velra stood, proud. "I have tamed the roaring water beast," Myra chuckled. "We just call it a toilet." Velra tilted her head. Strange name for such a fierce device. Back in her room, Velra wrote a report for her command ship. She titled it, Day 1 on Earth Vessel. Encountered Domestic Water Disposal Unit. Initial response, fear. Outcome, tactical success. Threat, level, moderate. She ended the report with one line. Further study required. May need backup. Outside, the humans were still laughing and eating. For them, toilets were just toilets. For Velra, it was war. And the battle had just begun. Asterisk Commander. Velra woke up to a soft chime. Good morning, said the AI voice from the ceiling. Today's human breakfast includes eggs, bread, and fruit. Velra sat up slowly, eyes narrowing. Another day on the human vessel. Another day with the white beast in her room. She looked at the closed door to the bathroom. The memory of Doom. Yesterday's flush echoed in her mind like a sonic grenade. She had flushed it once, yes, but only under guidance. She hadn't yet done it alone. Today she would. She geared up mentally, took deep breaths, stretched her arms. She had gone into real war with less preparation. She stepped toward the bathroom. Stopped. Then, instead of entering, she activated her communicator. A small glowing circle appeared on her wrist. She tapped in an encrypted message to her ship in orbit. Requesting backup. Earth weapon disguised as hygiene unit. Emits sonic waves. Causes panic response. Awaiting further orders. Asterisk. She stared at the screen. No reply. Of course, she muttered. No one believes the toilet is dangerous until it strikes. She sighed and stepped forward. Opening the bathroom door. Everything was the same. Still, shiny, clean, and in the middle the white, round enemy. She approached. No sound. No movement. Velra sat slowly, watching it like a cornered animal. Then clicked the door behind her, slid open. It startled her. She jumped, slipped sideways, and accidentally hit the flush handle. Whoosh. Again? She screamed, banging into the side wall. A small camera near the ceiling turned on automatically. The AI voice spoke again. Commander Velra, is everything all right? Should I notify medical? No, she shouted. No medical. No audience. She stood up, tried to regain her balance, and saluted the AI camera. All is under control. Meanwhile, on the ship's bridge, Captain Ross received a quiet alert. Commander Velra has triggered an internal emergency. Beacon. He frowned. Again? What happened this time? Lieutenant Myra walked up behind him. It's the toilet again, sir. Ross blinked. She's still at war with that thing? She filed a support request to her home ship, Myra added, holding in a laugh. Classified it as hostile technology. Ross sighed. Better go talk to her. Back in Velra's room, she stood in front of the mirror, adjusting her armor like nothing had happened. But her eyes told the truth. She was shaken. The second solo flush had not gone well. The door beeped. It's Captain Ross. Velra hesitated, then opened the door. Ross stepped inside with a calm voice. Commander, we noticed another alert from your room. Everything all right? Velra kept a straight face. Yes, your toilet continues to test my patience, but I will endure. He nodded. Respectfully. Do you want a manual? I don't need manuals. I need silence when I eliminate waste. Ross chuckled. You're not the first non-human who's been confused by it. Velra tilted her head. It is not confusion. It is strategy. I am gathering intelligence. Well, Ross said, I do have a solution. He stepped to the side and brought out a small black box. Inside, a portable waterless sanitation unit, quiet, simple, and alien compatible. Velra blinked. You had this all along? It's standard, we just thought. You wanted to learn human systems. Velra stared at the toilet, then at the box, then back at the toilet. I will conquer it, she said firmly. But I will also carry a box just in case. Later that night, Velra sent another message to her people. Update. Enemy remains unpredictable. Requested reinforcements denied. Human captain delivered ancient technology non-aggressive. Will continue observation. She added a footnote. Note to engineering. Toilet flush should not sound like ship decompression. It invites misunderstanding. Velra lay back in bed, eyes half open. Peace, she thought, was not found in treaties or silence. It was found in learning how to sit, flush, and survive. And tomorrow. She would try again. This time, alone. No alert. No panic. Just warrior versus porcelain. Beast. Asterisk. Captain Ross didn't laugh. Not in front of her, even though the situation was unique. He simply placed the portable sanitation unit on Velra's table and stepped back. Use this if the standard toilet system remains uncomfortable. Velra looked at it like it was a surrender flag. A quiet, shameful retreat. She crossed her arms. If I accept that device, I admit defeat. Ross raised an eyebrow. You call using a toilet a battle? It roars, she said seriously. It spins like a vortex and pulls waste with thunder. My people do not trust machines that suck things into darkness. Ross kept a straight face. Would a demonstration help? Velra narrowed her eyes. You would show me your method? Sure, for science, he smiled. A few minutes later, they stood outside one of the crew bathrooms. It was larger than her private one, designed for guest use. Neutral colors. Brighter lights. Less threatening. Velra crossed her arms, still in full armor. Observe carefully, Ross said, stepping in. She watched like a commander inspecting a battlefield. He pointed to the toilet. This is the bowl. Nothing inside it is alive. She nodded once. Deceptive. He continued. The seat is for sitting. The handle here triggers the flush, which uses pressurized water to clean the bowl. That's all. She leaned in slightly, not blinking. Ross took a deep breath and flushed it. Who? Stat VLR. A step back. She didn't scream. She didn't run. But her hand twitched toward her hip where a plasma blade once rested. Ross turned and said gently, See? No danger. Just sound. She stared at the swirling water. Where does it go? Into a filtered waste tank below the ship. The tank is regularly emptied in orbit. Nothing returns. She squinted. Unless it learns to climb, Ross blinked. It doesn't climb. After the demonstration, Velra stood alone in front of the same toilet. No captain, no backup. Just her and the machine. She walked around it, slowly. She tapped the seat with her finger. Sat down briefly. Stood again. She reached out and flushed. It once. Twice. Each time. It was Ed. Each time. She remained calm. Progress. She leaned against the wall and whispered to herself, I am the storm now. The next day, she joined the crew in the mess hall. For the first time, she smiled barely, but it was real. She even took a small cup of human coffee. Lieutenant Mira joined her. I heard about the ... demonstration. You okay now? Velra sipped. Slowly. I have reached understanding with the device. Understanding? It roars. I roar back. We are equals. Myra chuckled. You're more human than you think. Velra raised an eyebrow. Don't insult me. But there was no anger in her voice. Later, Velra entered her bathroom again. Alone, she walked straight to the toilet. No fear. She sat. She finished. She flushed. Who? No flinch. No scream. No panic. She stood tall and looked into the mirror. I am victorious. Then the auto flush activated. Who? Oosh. A second blast right after. She jumped a little. almost victorious. That evening, she updated her report to her home command. Mission log entry 4. Demonstration successful. Human methods revealed. Flushing confirmed as non-lethal, but psychologically disruptive. I now control the toilet. Recommendation: train future ambassadors in human plumbing systems. Rating: moderate psychological threat. Status: adaptive victory. Asterisk: she attached a short clip of herself calmly flushing the toilet as proof. Back on her homeworld, hundreds of alien warriors would soon view the footage. Many would not believe it. Some would laugh, but others would begin to fear Earth's hidden weapons. Velra closed the report with one final message. Asterisk: I faced the white beast. It roared. I did not run. Earth is strange, but I will master it one flush at a time. Asterisk, asterisk, Commander Velra believed she had won. She had flushed the Earth. Toilet 3 times. No injuries. No evacuations. No alarms. Victory. Or so she thought. The next morning began calmly. She drank human tea. She even gave a polite nod to the AI speaker in her room. A small win. Today, she would prove herself fully no Captain Ross. No simulation. No demonstration. Only her. Only the beast. Alone. She stood in front of her restroom door with confidence. I am the apex. I am in control. The door slid open. Inside, the toilet waited silently. Velra entered, stood tall, and closed the door behind her. Everything began well. She approached, sat down, and used it without panic. She even let out a quiet, victorious breath. This is how the humans do it, she said proudly. She stood and reached for the handle. But before she could flush, the auto flush activated. Loud, sudden, violent. Hoo! Water spun like a space cyclone. Velra yelped, ambush. She leapt into the air, hit her head on the light panel, tumbled sideways, and kicked the towel rack clean off the wall. A bar of soap flew like a missile and hit the sink. Alarms didn't go off, but they should have. She ducked into the corner, panting, looking around wildly. Clever machine. It waited. It learned. The toilet, as always, said nothing. She crawled toward the exit and pressed her wrist calm in panic. To all available units, I've been re-engaged. The white beast auto-triggered an attack, requesting tactical support. On the ship's bridge, Captain Ross was drinking his coffee when the alert arrived. He blinked. Is this another toilet panic alert? Lieutenant Myra didn't even look surprised anymore. Yes, sir. She's reporting a sneak flush. Ross rubbed his face. Send the medic. Medic Zara arrived at Velra's room 5 minutes later. The door opened to a chaotic scene. A towel was on the floor. The sink was dripping. The soap was stuck to the ceiling. And Velra was crouched behind the door, eyes scanning like a hunted animal. Zara spoke gently. Commander, are you hurt? Velra stood, brushing dust off her armor. Not physically. But the betrayal cut deep. Zara raised an eyebrow. Betrayal? The toilet waited until I stood, Velra growled. It watched. It chose the perfect moment. It is evolving. Zara covered her mouth to hide a smile. It's just the auto-flush function. For hygiene. Hygiene or mind games? Velra asked. I was calm. I trusted it. And then whoosh, without warning. She stepped toward the toilet and pointed at it like a general accusing a spy. Deactivate its automatic instincts. I wanted to obey, not decide. Zara bent down, tapped a small panel behind the unit, and disabled the motion sensor. Done. Now it will only flush when you press the handle. Velra nodded. Good. I prefer machines that follow orders. Word spread across the crew like fire in a fuel line. The warrior who destroyed battleships. defeated by a toilet twice in 1 week. Some laughed. Others respected her honesty. But one person had a better idea. Later that day, Lieutenant Myra walked into the ship's recreation room. There, on the holoscreen, a new training program had been uploaded. Terran Sanitation Survival, Toilet Simulation. Protocol 1.0. It was a joke part training, part comedy. But soon, aliens and even some humans were lining up to try it. The program featured a digital version of Velra's bathroom. The toilet flushed at random. If you didn't react calmly, the program kicked you out with a red screen. You failed the flush. Velra found out quickly. At first, she was furious. They turned my challenge into a game? She said, arms crossed, tail twitching slightly. But when she saw dozens of young cadets laughing and learning, she paused. One tiny Celian alien stepped out of the simulation booth and looked up at her. I lasted 5 flushes, he said proudly. Velra knelt down. That's 5 more than I did my first day, the little alien gasped. Really? Velra winked. Even warriors must learn where to sit and when to flush. That night, she sat on her bed and updated her report. Mission log entry 5. Auto flush function unexpected. Nearly caused diplomatic panic. Resulted in chaos, minor property damage, and 1 stuck bar of soap. Recommendation. All alien ambassadors should receive toilet combat training. Outcome. New respect earned. Training program created. Status. Psychological victory. Asterisk. She paused, then added, P.S. I now flush. Without fear. Asterisk. By now, Velra's reputation on the ship had shifted. She was no longer just the terrifying alien warrior who fought in the Blood Wars. She was something more legendary now, the first to stand against the flush. After her brave struggle in public, reports, the ship's command made a surprising decision. Velra would lead an orientation class for newly arrived alien diplomats on human restroom systems. Is this punishment? Velra asked Captain Ross when she got the notice. Ross smiled. It's a promotion. You faced the storm. Now teach others to survive it. Velra looked at the message again. Class name, Toilet. Operations 101, Understanding the Beast. Her mouth twitched into a rare smile. 3 days later, Velra stood in a small training room beside a modified toilet. The classroom had 10 seats, filled with nervous alien recruits, some furry, some scaled, all curious. 1 small bird-like creature raised a wing. Commander Velra. Is it true the toilet makes noise to scare the weak? Velra looked at the glowing unit beside her. No, she said calmly. It makes noise because it is ancient, powerful, and unbalanced. The recruits shivered. But, she continued, you do not fear noise. You face it, you sit, you flush, you win. She pressed the handle. Who half the class ducked. The other half gasped. VLRA stood still, arms crossed. That is the sound of victory. The class was a hit. Within days, a second training session was added, then a third. The simulation room was upgraded. Recruits began sharing stories of their first flush attempts, like soldiers comparing battle scars. Wide-eyed reptilians said, I almost ran away, ... But I remembered Velra's words. Flush with pride, not fear. Back in her room, Velra found a message waiting. It was from a new recruit aboard a different human vessel. The message read, Commander Velra, I was terrified of the toilet. But, after reading your logs, I flushed it 5 times today. No screams, thank you. Velra leaned back and stared at the stars through her portal window. She had led troops into space firestorms. She had destroyed enemy ships with nothing but a blade. But this This was something different, Dot. She was teaching peace, one flush at a time. Later that week, she hosted a graduation for her first group. Each recruit walked up to the stage, placed their hand on a silver toilet handle, and flushed it proudly. The flush echoed in the room like a victory bell, Dot. Who o Dot, then the next one, Dot. Who o G, then the next. One furry alien said, "Before this, I feared all human tech. But now, I only fear their taxes." The whole room laughed. Vel R.A. stood behind the podium. "Today, you are not just toilet survivors. You are conquerors of confusion. You are the future. And no seat, porcelain or otherwise, shall break you." They saluted Dot. She saluted back. After the ceremony, Captain Ross pulled her aside. "You've created a legend, Velra," he said with a grin. Velra tilted her head. "A toilet legend?" Ross shrugged. "Legends start somewhere." She smiled slightly. "Then let mine begin with a roar." Back in her room that night, Velra sat on the edge of her bed, looking toward her bathroom door. Dot. She had named the toilet Roaring Gate. It had tested her, Dot. It had terrified her. But now, it was hers. She walked in without hesitation, sat down with calm pride, and flushed. Dot. Who Dot. She closed her eyes. Dot. Peaceful. Dot. She updated her mission log. Mission log entry 6. The toilet now a maze. Training programs created. Recruits strong. Fear replaced with laughter. I have become the teacher. Earth tech still strange, but no longer frightening. Status: toilet tamed. Pride intact. She added a quote at the end. War makes heroes. Toilets make legends. Asterisk. Velra was no longer just a guest on the Earth starship. She had become something else. A symbol. New recruits whispered her name in the halls, not because she had destroyed enemy ships, but because she had stood her ground against the unknown. And flushed it. Dot. And now, her legend had crossed systems. Alien. Ships arriving at Earth station asked, "Is this where the warrior of the toilet lives?" Some laughed, some saluted, but all wanted to meet her. One day, during a calm evening cycle, Velra received a message from her homeworld. Asterisk. Your training logs have inspired sanitation units to upgrade. Your bravery has changed how we approach Terran tech. Our diplomats now carry emergency plungers, just in case. Asterisk. Velra sat quietly, rereading the words. She had led battle. Teams through asteroid fields. Yet this somehow felt more important. Later that week, the ship AI announced special visitor boarding. High Delegate Varn of the Kyrilan Star Order. The crew lined up for formal greeting. Velra stood at the front, wearing ceremonial armor, not the one for war, but for honor. High Delegate Varn stepped forward. He was tall, with layered robes and glowing facial tattoos. He bowed deeply to Velra. "Commander Velra," he said, "I watched the footage." Velra tilted her head. "Of which battle?" Varn replied without blinking. "The Flush, Part 3, the Spin Panic Leap. Truly heroic." The entire crew tried not to laugh. Velra's expression didn't change. "Thank you." It was a hard victory. Varn presented a metal plaque. On it, engraved in both Earth Standard and Galactic Common, "To the one who flushed first." Soon, more stories spread across space. A young lizard soldier in the outer colonies whispered, "I pressed the flush." Because Velra did. A small blue medic on a diplomatic shuttle cried, "I thought I was alone." Then I found her logs. An alien mother from a desert world installed a human toilet in her home, so her hatchlings could grow grave, just like Velra. Meanwhile, on the Earth starship, a new crew member arrived, a tall, red-skinned warrior from a desert moon. First time in space, strong in battle. But on his first day, He stood frozen in front of the bathroom. Velra saw him. She stepped beside him, quiet and calm. "You fear it," she said gently. He nodded. "It looks like it eats things." "It does," she replied, placing a hand on his shoulder, "but only what you give it, nothing more." He looked at her. "Will you teach me?" he asked. Velra smiled. "I will do more. I will stand beside you." And she did dot as the flush roared. She stood firm, and so did he. That night, Velra stood at the observation deck, watching stars drift by. Captain Ross joined her. "You've done more here than most soldiers do in a lifetime," he said. Velra nodded. "I taught them how to flush." "Who would have thought?" Ross smiled. "That's the thing about humanity, and maybe about you. Big victories don't always come from war." She looked at her reflection in the glass. "Some battles are quiet. Some enemies are made of porcelain." Ross raised a cup of coffee. To the warrior who wasn't afraid to sit, Velra raised hers too. To the flush heard across the stars. They clinked cups. Back in her room, she updated her final report. Mission log entry 7 final. "I came to Earth expecting new weapons. I found laughter. I feared a white machine. I flushed it. The galaxy now trains in toilet usage because of my fear. I am not ashamed. I am proud." Asterisk. She paused, thinking, then added, asterisk, "let the records show she survived space battles, but it was the toilet that changed her forever." Asterisk. The end.